Hey gang, welcome to the channel. So I am leaving the Philippines, and the first leg of my journey is going to be to Doha, Qatar. Leaving my family behind in the Philippines. I'll be traveling solo. I'll be gone for approximately about a month, maybe a little less. So I will be back to the Philippines, but I will be showing some content while I'm out of the country. And the first stop, like I say, is to Doha, Qatar. All right, so at the Davao Airport and getting ready to start boarding, but I made it through everything. It's an unusual airport. It's like you go through 2 levels of security coming in, one just to get into the airport, and then you have to go through the exact same security when you head into the, I guess the flight side where the flights are taking off, which is right after you go through, in my case, immigration, because we're leaving from here and going on Qatar Airlines to Doha. So the one thing I can't stand about the airports here in the Philippines is that when you're out, before you actually get into where your gates are going to be, they don't really blow the air. I feel so sorry for those employees because I was like drenched by the time that I got to the second round of security. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty booked flight at this point. I'm apparently going to be by an exit door, so that's always good. I'll have my bags up top rather than with me, but at least I'll have a little bit of extra leg room. And the fee to leave the airport that I had to pay was 784 pesos, so about $15 US. And looks like we're going to be boarding here, so I'll catch you on board. All right, so made it here to the transit airport here in Doha, and our plane left Davao almost a half hour late. Some sort of fueling problems or something, they said, to do with the weather, although it was dry outside, so I don't know what that was all about. And the flight took approximately a little over 10 hours, I think, to get here, and food was good. Unfortunately, I got upgraded for free to the door right in front of the lavatories where there's an exit, and then the bathrooms are right in front of that. So supposedly you get all this extra leg room. The guy who was sitting beside me on the plane, he was from Germany, and he said that he actually paid $300 to have that seat. I was in the middle one. I would have much preferred just to have been on an aisle somewhere on a regular seat, because you don't have the things in front of you to put your stuff in, like I can store my camera. So I basically had to hold that or put it back in my bags up in the plane the entire time. And the seats, because they have the monitors that you view the movies and stuff on, or your trays, are in the armrests on each side, and so it's a much smaller seat. So I felt cramped the whole time. So I would not pay extra for that. I would avoid that like the plague. And I just looked at my tickets for my next leg, and I'm also in the middle. Wouldn't let me do early booking this time. But anyway, got to this airport. It's so different than when I was here in 2021, which is the last time I was in Qatar. And it's busier. It's back alive again. I mean, when I was here before, it was dead. There was like nobody here. And of course, there's nobody like wearing, I mean, there are some people wearing masks, but for the most part, you know, there's no crazy rules or hoops you have to jump through. So I'll show you all a little bit of the B-roll while I run up to the duty-free shops, and we'll check that out. The second leg of the journey from Doha going forward to the United States, specifically to Miami, was a much better part of the journey. Although the flight itself lasted 15 and a half hours, which is just brutal. So I got to the gate, I was in economy, it was going to be 15 hours, the total trip was going to be 37 hours. So I got to the gate and I asked them if I could upgrade to business class. And sure enough, they were completely sold out. I couldn't book it when I originally had done it, and I thought maybe that was the case. But so I couldn't upgrade to business class. 15 hours is pretty long. That would have allowed me to at least got some sleep laying down and so forth. And I got, again, placed up in apparently these premium economy seats, which I didn't pay for, but since I was traveling solo, they had bumped me up there without my asking, and so I had a lot of leg room in front of me. But this time, instead of having a jump seat for the stewardess in front of me and the exit, this was in the center and I was on an aisle, so it was much more comfortable, about the best you could do in economy on that long of a flight. They fed us over and over and over again. The meals were really good. It's dark most of the time. I tried to capture some of it on film, but because it didn't turn out. So anyway, after that, I landed in Miami, and Miami was wow. It's why America has the worst reputation for international airports in the world. So when I got through to Miami, you unload the plane, you go through immigration, and there were 2 immigration officers working the American citizen side when I got there. And there was probably 50, 60 people in line when I showed up. So it was just painfully slow as molasses going through. So why in the world you would have only 2 immigration officers? Because they don't really have time to really screen people or anything, if that's what they're trying to do. So they had to hurry it along. One of the immigration officers wasn't. The other one was just kind of, he decided he didn't want to make everybody mad. So it did get screened through. But then after we went through customs, and you got to pick up your bags and go through. At any time I've ever been in the United States, when I had a ongoing flight at Chicago or any other place, you know, American Airlines, United Airlines, Delta, whoever, when you get to your out of customs, they have baggage drops, so those luggages, your checked luggages, will get on to your onward flight. Not the case at Miami. Miami, you have to go all the way to arrival side, down to American Airlines, taking your checked luggage with you. This takes quite a time. Get in line, recheck your luggage, which has already been checked through, and then get into security to go all the way back through to the airport to domestic travel. And it was booked as far as it was packed as far as the security goes. No place I have been on my travels requires you to do all of the crazy stuff, like take off your shoes and things that they do in the United States. And it was just really, really slow. Now, the one that I went through, they waved me through, so I didn't have to go through that naked scanner thing or whatever. So I just got way through the metal detector. That was good. But they had these really state-of-the-art security devices. So a lot of times in a lot of airports, when they're going through x-rays, you have to take out your laptop and your iPads and devices separately from your backpacks and stuff. Here, not a problem. It goes through the levels and can see it, so it did actually speed things up. Fortunately, going through immigration with these new machines. Got on the plane in Miami, booked me a rental car right before I did to pick up when I landed in Tennessee, because I was going to come first in here, and I did, to visit with my parents, who I haven't seen in over 2 years. And realistically, because of everything that was going on and their health conditions, I hadn't seen them really in 3-4 years, spend any real time with them. So that was great. I'm in. And so now I will share with you in the future a little bit more of my travels here in the United States.